You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. So we're going to be joined on the phone with Chris. We're going to be talking all about seals. Firstly, thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome, Daniel.
I was hoping you could introduce to our listeners what seals actually is.
The idea of seal actually, when I decided to form a charity, shall we say, it wasn't a charity, it was a group of people, and it was important to me to sort of go to the right people. We're talking Brian Spall, we're talking Bernie Watson, and at the time, these are the guys that are known on the island, because they're the sort of guys that are going to do things. So, I had this thought in my mind, let's get this group together, let's change, let's get back what we used to have in the 80s, in the 70s, when I was growing up, with regard to leisure.
So what are some of the things you've achieved since you've been running?
Well, the first project we done, we was approached by Swale Borough Council, said, look, at the time, in 2011, the old Christmas lights got stolen. Can Seal do something? I know you're a sort of new group. And we sort of put our hands to work, and Brian come up with this design of, around the clock tower, the crescent, what I call starburst display from the clock tower. It's very tasteful, I think, in design, and very effective, very good. And from that, obviously, over the last few years, we've been sort of carrying on with the lights. Last year, as you know, Daniel, Will kindly turned around and said, I'll come up and switch them on for you. And he was there, it was in the paper, blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. And, and I'd like to think that if Seal were going to carry on with the lights, I'm not quite sure yet, because the town team are there, and the town team have sort of made mention that they would like to sort of take responsibility of Christmas lights, which is absolutely fine, that's no problem. But, we need to know where we are. But the way I see it, we do get a couple of comments about the Christmas lights. Oh, well, we could have better. Well, of course we can have better, but it's not going to happen overnight, is it?
No, it all takes time.
It does, yeah.
Are there any other things that you've been involved in seals?
Yeah, of course. The same thing. Council come to us, Queen's Jubilee, 2012. We painted the clock tower red, white, and blue. That was put down to kind of like a vote through KM, Times Guardian. What colour do you want it? Actually, the colour red, white and blue wasn't the winner, if I'm honest. It was actually blue and gold. And Peter Bell, and no disrespect to Mr. Bell, but Peter Bell from Swale Borough Council, Conservation Officer, said you can't use gold paint. You have to use gold leaf. Well, fine, but obviously that's not practical to do. So I sort of mocked up a design of blue and yellow to kind of like substitute it, and but that sort of didn't go down well with the locals, the community. So red, white and blue was the one that came out on front.
So how actually do you get funding at Seals to do these things?
Cool, I wish I knew. we literally do things, projects. We are very much on a shoestring. Only just till recently now. With regard to, shall we say, the clock tower, shall we say, painting the clock tower, I made it very clear to Swale Borough Council. Regeneration officer said, look, we've got X amount of money to give you for doing it. Well, that's fine, but it's going to cost more than that. And they said, well, we always spend £2,000 or whatever on doing it. I said, yeah, but that's 8-9 coats of paint on what's already there. And Seal won't do that. Seal will do a very good job, So I kind of like put my foot down and said, look, you ain't going to stump up the money. It's your monument. It's up to you. We ain't going to do it. We ain't going to put our hands to something that are going to do like a second-hand job. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, well, Swale Borough Council come up with the money. So we done it. Obviously, it wasn't me standing up there with a paintbrush, but, got contractors in. It was all done, risk assessments, it was all done properly. And that's what I like about SEAL. It's a proper organisation, proper charity, and we, if we say we're going to do something, we will do it.
What are some of the things you want to achieve in the future, or you're looking to achieve?
Well, at the minute we've got the cinema going on, as you know. We're building up on that, and I'd like the idea of it being a more regular thing, and I'm pretty sure it will be a more regular thing. I had a discussion with Jenny Herkett down at Bluetown yesterday, and there's a bit of an issue, but I think I'd like to think that we got it sorted out, especially with the cinema. I think she's done an absolutely fantastic job down there with, the Heritage Centre and all that sort of stuff, and what she's done. But it's not, heritage and history is not for everyone's taste, is it? So when you're asking me the question, what do you want to achieve, I think still we're a bit more modern and, modern technology maybe. Should we say virtual reality? I'll give you a little bit of a hint. There's some developments that I've been personally working on. It's taken me a lot of time to do it. And it's really exciting equipment, exciting times actually for the island, that we could actually gain a lot of visitors to the island purely from some of the ideas that, I've got in my mind.
So in case any of our listeners don't know, where actually is the cinema, and when can people go along to see stuff, and what can they see?
Well, at the minute, the last one we done, currently it's being run in the Healthy Living Centre, in the Leisure Centre, Sheerness, and it's a touring cinema, so later on we're going to be looking at different venues as well. Obviously, the Academy are already booked up, so we'll be going to the Academy to show films as well, to try and tour around. Our equipment is quite portable, so we're able to do that, and that's part of the funding that we've got more recently from BFI. Is they want to promote cinema as an industry, So we've had some comments about, oh, well, you need to show, family films and that, which is fine, and of course we're going to show that. But we need to tick all the right boxes, don't we? So we do need to show things like Shaun of the Dead, independent kind of British film, and which we showed Saturday, which actually one of the guys who appeared in Shaun of the Dead, one of the twins, the Wilson twins, came along, Kevin, right. And he thoroughly enjoyed it with his young lady, and he said, I've already had a chat with him, and we're sort of connected now on Facebook and chatting away, and he's really enthusiastic about Beachfields as well, and what plans that, with the Beachfields project, and what we want to do in improving the park, the area.
Was there anything else you'd like to get over to our listeners about SEALs?
Well, SEAL was, like I say, kind of like formed to improve leisure for Sheerness. And what I would like to say, there's an event coming up on the 24th of April, which is a Friday, and it's the Beachfields project. And the idea of that is, like I say, to sort of redevelop Beachfields as a leisure park, in my mind. Every good seaside town, let's not forget we are a seaside town, should have a good leisure park, yeah? Now, I approached Dave Harcourt from Swale Community Leisure and said, Dave, at the time, I said, can you help us out with the skate park funding? in particular. You know, he's a very, very clever guy. He knows what to do, how to do it. And with seal, it's a big chunk of the pie to take, you know, to do that skate park. I mean, we went out to tender and got quotes in for about 240 grand, I think. You know, albeit a couple of quid here and there. But we come up to a point where we was like, come on, Dave, can you help us out? We need funding, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, Chris, let's have a walk around the site, which we did. And we walked around the whole of Beachfields, which, remember, it goes right up to the back of the swimming pool. And he said, actually, let's try and redevelop this whole site. So a partnership was, he formed a partnership, which obviously includes Seal, Sheppey Matters, Swale Community Leisure, local council, you know, and all these different partners. And I think it's going to be good guns. I think it's the way it's going to work, and it's about time. You know, I've been banging on about this, especially with Seal, for so many years, that we need to get this done. And now this is probably the more sensible way of doing it.
Now, if our listeners would like to find out more about Seal, do you have a Facebook page or a website where they can go along and have a little look at what you're doing and keep up to date with what you're doing? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Facebook's probably the most active at the minute. Just search for Seal Sheerness, you know. We've got a YouTube channel. We've got a couple of promo videos on there, you know, skate park ones and cinema ones and that. And the website's just being redeveloped at the minute. So, I mean, there's still the website address, www.seal-leisure.co.uk. And that's also, you know, email info@seal-leisure.co.uk. So, but that's being redeveloped at the minute. It's going to have a fresh new look.
Well, if you're happy we've covered everything for this interview, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out and letting our listeners know all about what you do at Seal and keeping us up to date with what you're doing as well.
Yeah, hopefully, you know, good things coming, and I'm really excited about the way Sheerness is coming along now. You know, it's been a bit of a battle, but we're getting there, and no disrespect to anyone, but, you know, let's be honest, we need to have these things going on, don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yep, thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks, Dan. Cheers.